Yesterday, I was at the Gilmore Auto Museum, an epic place if you dig all things automotive. And if you're not into cars, it's still a really cool place. They have a lot of architecture stuff and memorabilia stuff, and it's just a really cool museum. The next few days are going to be totally different. We're going to double feature these days. There's going to be a bit of a break on Saturday because I got previous obligations that I need to fulfill. In the morning, virtual tour of the Gilmore Auto Museum broken down into buildings. Real quick though, I didn't have a chance to go in every single building, but today we will be walking around the CCCA barn. But first, a little bit about the Gilmore Auto Museum located in Hickory Corners, Michigan, which is sort of between Hastings and Kalamazoo. The Gilmore Auto Museum has over 400 cars in their exhibit. Most of the cars are pre-1970. Tons of pre-war cars like steam-powered cars, early electric, tons of memorabilia. The buildings are designed like dealerships. Like they have a Franklin dealership, they have a Ford dealership, they have a Cadillac dealership, and they have a Lincoln dealership. They have 14 different buildings. The rest of them are barns. It's truly, there's something for everybody there on their 90-acre campus. So if you're ever in the area, it's definitely worth checking out. Each of the barns have their own story. I guess this one was built, it was called the Barrett Barn. Classic Car Club of America established their museum on the campus of the site of the Gilmore Auto Museum back in 1985. The very first partner to do so in 1987, they discovered this late 19th century barn, and it was moved board by board to this current location. So we're going to go inside this one. This is the Classic Car Club of America barn. And when you walk through the front door, you're met by some gorgeous moto meters. And this is where all the classy stuff is. So in this foyer, right here, there's a 1926 Willis St. Clair T6. Look at the spotlight and how it's mounted to the running board. Right here, this is a 1925 Willis St. Clair engine. There's some literature if you want to read that. I'm going to try to angle it in such a way that there isn't a glare. Overhead cam. Very interesting. This is what the interior looks like. Has a dashboard so that you can run this engine if you wanted to. This is 1929 Lincoln Model L. Back here in the corner, 1930 Packard 740. Parked right in front of it is a 1924 Packard 143, bodied by Fleetwood. This has jump seats. Look at the interior of this. Doesn't that look cool? It's like mint green. This is the 1930 Stutz. Look at all of the moto meters. It's honestly a lost art. Guess these aren't moto meters. These are mascot collections. Duesenberg had a man on theirs. Here's Packard. Probably could just do an episode with all of the mascots and or hood ornaments, but running out of time. Walking into the main room here. So right over here, this is a 1937 Cord 812. The easiest way to tell if it's an 810 or an 812 is these exposed pipes. That means that it's supercharged. Unless you're Leno and you just buy those to just make yours look cooler. I heard that's what he did with his. But here's a look at the interior. Coming over here, this is a 1931 Cadillac 370 V12. Let's take a look at that interior. Rumble seat car. Gorgeous color combination. It's not really red, it's almost like a copper bronzish color with silver. Who would have thought that those two colors would go great together? They really work. Over here is a 1933 Stutz DV32. Absolutely gorgeous car. I don't think there's a bad looking car in this room. Look at Stutz guy up there. Over here is a 1933 Cadillac 370C chauffeur driven car. And back here there's jump seats. Beautiful Packard right there in the center. 1936 Buick 80C. Let's not discount the other cars either. Like Buick made some really nice cars back in the day. That one has a center armrest. Look at how much space there is back there. Don't discount Buick. They made some really nice cars. Really nice front end on that one. 1933 Cadillac 370C. Look at all the vents. Look at all those vents. That's what this looks like from the front. Sitting right next to a 1937 Packard 12. Absolutely gorgeous color. Probably maybe one of my favorite Packard colors. This blue that the camera just does not do justice. Absolutely gorgeous car and color. Definitely like this one more than the pewter one. I would take either one if given the choice. It's got a nice partial shelf in the back. The rear window does go down with a T-handle there. There's also a curtain, so if you didn't want to see the people in the rumble seat, you wouldn't have to. 1929 Cord L29 unrestored. This looks like the body's done by somebody that I can't pronounce. Name's right there. All of the cars have these nice placards next to them explaining what they are, how much power they made, wheelbase, production numbers. Definitely worth the visit to this museum, that's for sure. There's the engine. And this car is all original, hasn't been restored. Over here, this is a 1921 Wills St. Clair V8 engine. This big, massive behemoth of an engine makes 67 horsepower at 2,700 RPM. That's it, but it's got dual overhead cams. This looks like a Lincoln. This is a 1933 Lincoln KB. The Lincoln KB was made with the finest materials. 150 horsepower, V12. Look at these vent windows or wing windows. They also have them in the back for the passengers. Up next is a 1936 Lincoln Model K. Oh my. 1922 Izada. We're gonna try to say this. I'm terrible with pronunciations. This is a 1922 Izada. I can't say that. Tipo 8, Type 8. This has a 6.2 inline 8, 90 horsepower. It was $19,000 when it came out. It's like looking at a fine watch. The gauges are absolutely gorgeous. Look at how the top is connected. Oh man. Oh, it's like seeing one of your heroes. Wow, that's a car I never thought that I'd ever see in person. I'm speechless. This is a 1938 Tatra Type 87 saloon. Take a step back. It's not, none of it's conveying on camera like it's conveying to me right now. It's actually like trying to talk to me. Think of a Chrysler Airflow and then times it by 1,000, and then that's this car. Look, it has the trafficators. These little sticks come out and they tell you what direction you're turning, but it's just a stick that sticks out. I absolutely love this car. This is one of those cars that I really want to own, but it's never going to happen. It's got the front end of almost a Volkswagen Beetle with the 3 lights in the front. And the grille down here. 3-piece windshield, just like a Hotmobile. But the Hotmobile did it first, I think. This one has a sunroof. It's all metal. The seats look so nice. The dashboard layout, the buttons, I love the white contrast color, very bright in your face color for that blue. It accents it really, really nicely. Back seat looks like it has plenty of room in the back. The bench seems really wide for the car. It's got these quarter windows. Also, this looks like an air intake. And you absolutely have to love the spine. Look at the spine on this car. It comes back into a fin in the back here. Look at the back of this car. Such a gorgeous car. I'm like nerding out. There's a flathead V8 underneath the hood, or at least that's what's supposed to be back there. Let's see what the board says. Rear mounted air cooled 8-cylinder V8. So I would guess that that's a flathead V8. Wow, what a gorgeous car. I love the artillery. I can't say that word. I love the wheels. Moving on before we droll, because there's a couple other cars in here that are super nice, like this. This is a 1937 Delahaye D8 120 Cabriolet. Another absolutely stunning car. I absolutely love its fenders come back. This car has very, very, very petite running boards, if you even call them that. It's right-hand drive. The dashboard sits up underneath the cowl. All the car is in the front. The rear section isn't that big compared to the front. Love these fenders. Such a nice looking car. Over here is a 1938 Packard 12. Another dream car of mine. Right next to it's a 1941 Lincoln Continental Cabriolet. Right next to it's a 1948 Lincoln Continental Cabriolet. Right next to it, 1948 Jaguar 3.5 liter. This is a gorgeous car. This car looks like a poor man's Bentley. I think there's a Bentley down here, and I'll show you why. They look very, very similar. This is the Bentley that the Jag looks like. The Bentley has bigger lights. This is a 1938 425 liter Bentley. They look very similar, the Bentley and the Jag. What do you think in the comment section below? 1939 Rolls-Royce Wraith. Look, the Rolls-Royce has trafficators too. How about that? That's cool. This is another favorite car of mine. This is a Delahaye. I am a huge fan. 1939 Delahaye Type 135M. This is a convertible. My favorite parts on this car are the fins. Look at how this comes down into a point right there. It also has a center point, but the ones in the front, they're gorgeous. Look at how pointy this is. It's very, like, look at that. Look at that line. How aggressive it is. There's nothing that looks like it. And I think that's why I like it so much. All right, now it's time for Would You Rather. Bit different today. So, out of all of the cars that we got to look at in this room, which one is your favorite? You could give me top three, and I will give you my top three. The Tatra is probably at the top, followed by the Delahaye, followed by the Packard, the 12 Packard, the blue one, the really, really nice colored one. I think those are my top three, but it would be really hard to narrow it down to just three from that room. And honestly, there's no wrong answer. Actually, I might switch the Packard out for the Delahaye. That was a really super stellar car. Not saying the Packard isn't good. The Packard's still top five, but when's the next chance you're ever going to get to have a Delahaye? Delahaye is like so much higher in rank than Packard. Anyway, I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys like from this room. Like, what are your favorite cars? In the comment section below. All right, now it's time for Name That Tune. First person to get both the name of the band and song title correctly in the comment section below will have their comment pinned to the top of it. Thank you all so much for coming out and watching this. If you'd like to get in touch with me, shoot me a comment in the comment section below, or check out our Facebook group that correlates with this YouTube channel. If you don't have Facebook and would like to reach me one-on-one, talk to me in person, shoot me an email. All of that will be linked in the description below. Just know I appreciate all of the support. And until next time, here's some scenes for our upcoming episode that's going to air tonight. Airing at 7:30 Eastern Time, so Pennsylvania time. It's not always going to be 7:30. It's going to be 4:30, but the schedule's going to get kind of messed up for the next couple days. 1963 Studebaker Wagonaire with the retractable steel roof. I've been waiting for a long time to find one of these. I found one yesterday, and it's an awesome wagon. So stay tuned for that. That's coming up later on today. And until then, toodaloo!